The moment you open your mouth to explain yourself, you have already lost. Think about the most powerful men you've ever seen. The CEO who walks into a room and says nothing. The man who gets disrespected and smiles. The soldier who has survived things you can't imagine and never talks about it. What do they all have in common? Silent man energy. They don't explain. They don't justify. They don't beg for your understanding. And that is exactly why they are feared. In this video, I'm going to show you why quiet men are powerful, not in a soft, motivational way, in a real, brutal, philosophical way. You'll understand why stop explaining yourself is not just advice, it's a code of survival. You'll see how the Stoics use silence as a weapon, and you'll walk away with 3 practical rules you can apply today. The man who controls his mouth controls his life. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man on earth. Emperor of Rome, commander of armies, master of philosophy, and he wrote the Meditations, not for the public, not for fame, not for validation, for himself, in private, in silence. He didn't post his thoughts for approval. He didn't explain his decisions to critics. He ruled, he acted, he remained silent. Now here's what most people don't understand. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, political enemies, war, plague, men who tried to tear him down daily. His response, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He didn't argue. He didn't fight with words. He went inward and came out unbreakable. That is silent man energy. That is why quiet men are powerful. Insight 1. Every explanation is a transaction, and you always pay too much. When you explain yourself to someone who didn't ask, you are saying, "Your opinion of me matters more than my reality." That is a surrender. Stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided who you are. Their mind is made up. Your words are wasted breath. Epictetus said it plainly. "Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." Translation: stop trying to control how people see you. Control yourself. Nothing else. The man who needs no explanation is the most dangerous man in the room. Insight 2. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates power. Here's the thing most men miss completely. When you stop explaining yourself, people start wondering. When they wonder, they watch. When they watch, they respect. The loud man reveals everything. The silent man reveals nothing and becomes everything. In business, in relationships, in conflict, the man who talks the least is studied the most. This is not manipulation. This is mastery. Say less, mean more. Insight 3. Justifying is a confession of insecurity. Now listen carefully. Every time you justify your choices to someone who didn't ask, you are confessing one thing. I am not sure I am right. Confidence doesn't explain itself. The lion doesn't explain why it hunts. The ocean doesn't apologize for the storm. Seneca wrote, "Omnia aliena sunt, tempus tantum nostrum est." Everything is borrowed. Only time is truly ours. Stop wasting your time seeking permission from minds smaller than your vision. A man certain of his path needs no passenger's approval. Insight 4. The quiet man controls the room without lifting a finger. Most men won't accept this truth. The man who speaks least in a room holds the most power. Why? Because every word you speak gives others information. Information about your insecurities, your plans, your weaknesses. The silent man gives away nothing, and what people cannot read, they fear. Why quiet men are powerful is not mystical. It is strategic. Talk is the currency of the average man. Silence is the currency of the exceptional. Insight 5. Silence is the final answer to disrespect. Someone disrespects you. The average man argues, defends, explains. The Stoic man smiles, turns, walks, because no response is a response. and it is the loudest one possible. Marcus Aurelius faced senators who mocked him. His silence made them irrelevant. When you stop explaining yourself to those who disrespect you, you remove their power entirely. Silence is not surrender. Silence is execution. 3 rules you apply starting today. Rule 1. The 24-hour filter. Before you respond to any criticism or conflict, wait 24 hours. In that silence, ask, does this deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. Rule 2. The zero justification policy. For 1 week, stop explaining your choices. To friends, to family, to followers. Make a decision. Execute. Observe. Watch how people's perception of you shifts. Rule 3. Speak only to move forward. From this day, only open your mouth when your words create action, value, or change. Everything else, silent. 3 rules. 7 days. A completely different man. The world is full of men who speak too much and do too little. They explain, they justify, they beg for understanding. And then there are the other men, the ones who walk into rooms and change the temperature without saying a word. The ones who get disrespected and smile because they know what others don't. The ones who understand that silent man energy is not about being shy. It is about being so certain of who you are that you require no one's validation to exist. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule Rome with words. Seneca didn't survive Nero with speeches. Epictetus didn't gain freedom through arguments. They used the only weapon that cannot be taken from you: mastery of self. And mastery of self begins with mastery of your mouth. So here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, stop explaining yourself to anyone, for any reason, and watch what happens to the way the world sees you. Because the man who needs no explanation is the man who is most feared. Stay stoic, stay silent, stay dangerous,